Wealth without happiness is a tragedy, and happiness without some measure of financial freedom is incomplete. So today we're going to talk about how to have both. Now, I'm not here to give you the quick fix. I don't have a magic formula that will make you wealthy by next Tuesday. What I do have are the fundamental principles that, if applied with discipline and consistency, will absolutely transform your financial future and your sense of fulfillment. These are the same principles I've taught to thousands around the world, and I've watched as they've changed lives. Let's start with a simple truth. Your life does not get better by chance. It gets better by change. If you want something different, you've got to do something different. If you keep doing what you've always done, you'll keep getting what you've always gotten. Makes sense, doesn't it? When I was a young man, I had big dreams, but an empty bank account. I was making a living, but I wasn't designing a life. And there's a massive difference between the two. One day, my mentor, Mr. Schoaf, said to me, "Jim, if you want to be wealthy and happy, work harder on yourself than you do on your job." That statement changed everything for me. You see, most people work hard at their job, but they don't work hard on themselves. They work 8, 10 hours a day at their profession, but they don't invest even 10 minutes in their personal development. And then they wonder why their life doesn't change. Here's the key. For things to change, you have to change. For things to get better, you have to get better. And that's where we need to begin. Let me share with you what I call the 5 major pieces to the life puzzle. These are the 5 areas that determine the quality of your life and will lead you to both wealth and happiness. The first piece is philosophy. Your philosophy is your view of life. It's how you think about things. It's those 1,000 little decisions you make every day based on what you believe to be true. And here's what's fascinating. 2 people can be in the exact same situation with the exact same opportunities, but get completely different results. Why? Because they have different philosophies. I remember talking to 2 salespeople who worked at the same company, sold the same product, called on the same customers. One was making $150,000 a year. The other was barely making $30,000. What was the difference? It wasn't the product. It wasn't the company. It wasn't the territory. It was their philosophy. One had the philosophy of excellent service and going the extra mile. The other had the philosophy of just getting by, doing the minimum. Your philosophy will determine whether you're spending or investing, whether you're entertaining yourself to death or educating yourself to success, whether you blame circumstances or take responsibility. And that philosophy comes from what you read, what you listen to, who you associate with. Now let me ask you, what books have you read in the last 90 days? What audio programs have you listened to? Who are you spending time with? Are they lifting you up or pulling you down? Are they stretching your vision or reinforcing your limitations? You need to be a student of success. And that doesn't mean just financial success. It means success in relationships, in health, in contribution, in personal fulfillment. Read the biographies of great men and women. Study the wisdom of the ages. Associate with people who inspire you to reach higher. Because your philosophy will ultimately determine your destiny. The second piece of the life puzzle is attitude. Your attitude is your disposition toward life. It's not what happens to you, but how you respond to what happens to you. We all face difficulties. We all have setbacks. But some people allow those challenges to make them bitter, while others use them to become better. I always say, don't wish it was easier, wish you were better. Don't wish for fewer problems, wish for more skills. Don't wish for less challenge, wish for more wisdom. Your attitude is a choice. And it's a choice you make every morning when you get up. You can choose to be enthusiastic, to be grateful, to be positive. Or you can choose to be negative, to complain, to find fault. And that choice will affect everything else in your life. I know people who have very little materially, but have an attitude of gratitude and joy that makes them richer than some millionaires I've met. And I know people who have tremendous financial resources, but have an attitude of scarcity and lack that makes them poor regardless of their bank balance. Let me tell you something, happiness is not a destination. It's a manner of traveling. It's not tomorrow, it's now. It's not a dependency, it's a decision. It's what you decide to pursue and what you decide to overlook. The third piece of the life puzzle is activity, because philosophy and attitude without action are worthless. You must convert knowledge into practice, convert wisdom into habits, convert inspiration into discipline. Activity is where the rubber meets the road. It's where you move from knowing to doing. It's where you translate your philosophy and attitude into results. Let me ask you, what are you doing with what you know? Are you implementing the wisdom you've already acquired? Or are you on an endless quest for more information while neglecting to apply what you already have? You know, some people say knowledge is power, but that's not true. Knowledge is only potential power. It's the application of knowledge that gives you power. I can know everything about fitness, but if I don't exercise and eat properly, I won't be healthy. I can know everything about wealth building, but if I don't save, invest, and manage my resources wisely, I won't be wealthy. The key is to develop disciplines. Disciplines are those daily habits that, compounded over time, lead to success. Saving a little bit each month, reading 10 pages of a good book each day, making a few extra calls. Expressing gratitude. Small disciplines repeated with consistency every day lead to great achievements gained slowly over time. And here's something amazing about disciplines. They have a multiplying effect. Money takes money to make money. But discipline takes whatever you have and multiplies it. If you have $1 in discipline, you'll turn it into 2. If you have talent and discipline, you'll turn it into genius. If you have opportunities and discipline, you'll turn them into fortune. The fourth piece of the life puzzle is results. Because at the end of the day, we must measure our progress. We must be able to see that our philosophy, attitude, and activity are actually producing the outcomes we desire. You can't change your destination overnight, but you can change your direction. And if you change your direction, you'll eventually change your destination. Results give us feedback. They tell us whether our philosophy is sound, our attitude is productive, and our activities are effective. And if the results are what we want, we need to have the wisdom to adjust one or more of those areas. I always recommend keeping a journal. Write down your goals, your plans, your ideas, your progress. Measure where you are each month in your finances, your relationships, your health, your personal development. Because what gets measured gets improved. What gets measured gets done. And don't just measure the destination, measure the distance. Don't just evaluate the goal, evaluate the growth. Because success is steady progress toward your personal goals, not some arbitrary standards set by society. The fifth piece of the life puzzle is lifestyle. Lifestyle is the art of living. It's the freedom and ability to design your life around your highest values and deepest desires. You see, the goal isn't just to become wealthy, it's to live a rich life. And by rich, I don't just mean financially. I mean rich in experience, rich in relationships, rich in contribution, rich in joy. Money is only one component of wealth. True wealth includes good health, loving relationships, meaningful work, personal growth, and the opportunity to make a difference. And when you have these things along with financial freedom, you have a lifestyle that brings both prosperity and peace of mind. Now, let me share with you some specific strategies for building financial wealth. Because while money isn't everything, it is an important tool for creating the lifestyle you desire. First, understand the miracle of compound interest. Einstein called it the eighth wonder of the world. And it is amazing. If you start with just a small amount and add to it consistently over time, the growth becomes exponential. Let me give you an example. If you save just $100 per month starting at age 25, and it grows at an average of 10% per simply, which is approximately the long-term average of the stock market, by age 65, you'll have over $640,000. If you wait until age 35 to start, you'll have only about $230,000. 10 years of delay costs you over $400,000. That's the miracle of compound interest. And the enemy of compound interest is procrastination. Second, understand that your income is directly related to the value you bring to the marketplace. If you want to earn more, you must become more valuable. You must develop more skills, acquire more knowledge, solve bigger problems. The marketplace pays for value, not for time. That's why some people earn $500 per hour while others earn $5 per hour. The difference isn't time, it's value. So ask yourself, how can I become more valuable? How can I serve more people? How can I solve bigger problems? Third, learn to manage the money you have. It's not just what you make, it's what you keep that determines your financial destiny. I've seen people earn millions and end up broke, and I've seen people with modest incomes build significant wealth. The difference was in their money management. Pay yourself first. Before you pay the rent, before you pay the utilities, before you buy groceries, set aside at least 10% of your income for long-term investing. Make it automatic so you don't have to think about it, and then forget about it. Let it grow. Live below your means. In America, we have a tendency to spend more than we make. We buy things we don't need with money we don't have to impress people we don't like. It's a formula for financial disaster. Instead, practice what I call intelligent restraint. Make purchasing decisions based on value rather than emotion. Ask yourself, is this the best use of my money? Fourth, diversify your income sources. Don't rely solely on your job or business. Look for ways to create passive income through investments, royalties, or side businesses. The average millionaire has 7 different streams of income. Fifth, invest in your education and skills. Your earning ability is your greatest asset. The more you learn, the more you can earn. The more problems you can solve, the more valuable you become. Never stop learning, growing, and improving. Now let's shift our focus to happiness, because as I said at the beginning, wealth without happiness is a tragedy. So how do you create genuine happiness? First, understand that happiness is not something you pursue directly. Happiness is what happens when you're making progress in a life that matters. It's a byproduct of doing meaningful work, building meaningful relationships, and making a meaningful contribution. Second, practice gratitude. Gratitude is the antidote to the 2 things that destroy happiness: entitlement and comparison. When you're grateful, you can't be entitled. When you're counting your blessings, you can't be counting someone else's money. Gratitude transforms what you have into enough. Each day, write down 3 things you're grateful for. They can be simple things: a beautiful sunset, a kind word from a friend, a good meal. When you focus on what you have rather than what you lack, you'll find that you already possess much of what you need for happiness. Third, build strong relationships. Studies consistently show that the quality of our relationships is the single biggest predictor of our happiness. Not money, not fame, not achievement, but the depth and quality of our connections with others. Invest time in your family. Be fully present when you're with them. Listen more than you speak. Ask questions. Show interest. Express appreciation. These small acts of love compound over time, just like financial investments, to create a wealth of relational happiness. Cultivate deep friendships. Not just casual acquaintances, but people who know you and accept you, who challenge you and support you. People with whom you can be authentic and vulnerable. Fourth, find purpose in your work. We spend too much of our lives working to not find meaning in it. Whether you're a CEO or a janitor, look for ways to connect your daily tasks to a larger purpose. How does what you do help others? How does it make the world a better place, even in some small way? If you can't find purpose in your current work, maybe it's time to consider a change. Or maybe you need to find purpose outside of work through volunteering or pursuing a passion project. But don't go through life just going through the motions. Find something that engages your talents and touches your heart. Fifth, take care of your health. It's hard to be happy when you're sick, tired, or in pain. Eat nutritious food. Exercise regularly. Get enough sleep. Manage stress. These aren't just good health practices, they're happiness practices. Your body and mind are connected. When you take care of your physical health, you're also supporting your mental and emotional well-being. And that contributes enormously to your overall sense of happiness and fulfillment. Sixth, practice mindfulness. Learn to be fully present in each moment. Don't spend all your time regretting the past or worrying about the future. Life happens now, in this moment. And when you're fully engaged in it, you'll find a depth of satisfaction that no amount of striving can provide. Seventh, set and achieve meaningful goals. Humans are goal-striving beings. We need a sense of progress, of forward movement, of growth. When we're making progress towards something that matters to us, we experience a deep sense of satisfaction. But here's the key: the goals must be meaningful to you, not just what society tells you to pursue. And they must be challenging enough to require growth, but not so difficult that they lead to constant frustration. Now, let me address something important. There's a common misconception that wealth and happiness are at odds with each other. That to be wealthy, you must sacrifice happiness, or to be happy, you must renounce wealth. But that's a false dichotomy. You can be both wealthy and happy. In fact, they can reinforce each other. When you approach wealth building as a creative and meaningful endeavor, it can contribute to your happiness. And when you're happy and fulfilled, you often make better financial decisions and attract more opportunities for wealth creation. The key is to keep wealth in its proper perspective. Money is a wonderful servant, but a terrible master. If you make the accumulation of money your primary goal, you'll always be dissatisfied because there's always more to acquire. But if you make living a meaningful and purposeful life your goal and see money as a tool to support that life, you'll find that you can enjoy both wealth and happiness. Let me share with you 3 paradigm shifts that can help you integrate wealth and happiness. First, shift from a scarcity mindset to an abundance mindset. A scarcity mindset says there's never enough, that someone else's gain is your loss, that you must hoard and protect what you have. An abundance mindset says there's plenty for everyone, that through creativity and collaboration we can expand the pie, not just divide it. When you operate from abundance, you're more generous, more innovative, more willing to take calculated risks. And ironically, that often leads to greater financial success as well as greater happiness. Second, shift from a transactional mindset to a transformational mindset. A transactional mindset focuses on what you can get. A transformational mindset focuses on what you can give, how you can add value, how you can make a difference. When you approach work, relationships, and life from a transformational perspective, you find greater meaning and satisfaction. And again, paradoxically, you often end up receiving more as well. Third, shift from an either-or mindset to a both-and mindset. Many of us fall into the trap of thinking we must choose between competing values, wealth or happiness, career, family, success or balance. But often, with creativity and wisdom, we can find ways to have both. You can be ambitious and compassionate. You can be successful and balanced. You can be wealthy and happy. It's not always easy, and it requires thoughtful choices and sometimes difficult trade-offs. But it is possible. Now let me speak directly to those of you who are struggling financially right now. Perhaps you're in debt. Perhaps you've experienced setbacks or failures. Perhaps you're just starting out. The path to financial freedom seems impossibly long. First, don't be discouraged. Every financial journey has ups and downs. What matters is not where you are today, but the direction you're moving and the habits you're forming. Second, start where you are. Don't wait for some ideal circumstance to begin saving, investing, and building for the future. If all you can save is $10 a week, start with that. It's not the amount that matters most. It's the habit, the discipline, the mindset. Third, get educated, learn about personal finance, investing, entrepreneurship. There are countless books, courses, podcasts, and other resources available, many of them for free. Knowledge truly is power when it comes to your financial future. Fourth, find mentors and role models. Look for people who have achieved what you want to achieve, who embody the values you admire. Learn from them, ask questions, observe their habits and strategies. Fifth, take responsibility. Your financial situation may not be entirely your fault. There are certainly systemic factors and circumstances beyond your control, but your financial future is your responsibility. You have the power to make better choices, to develop better habits, to create a better life. And for those of you who are already financially successful, but still searching for greater happiness and fulfillment, I have some advice as well. First, remember that money is a means, not an end. It's a tool for creating the life you want, not the purpose of life itself. Use your resources to invest in experiences, relationships, personal growth, and making a difference. Second, practice generosity. Giving is not just good for the recipients, it's good for the giver. It connects us to something larger than ourselves, expands our perspective, and brings a deep sense of satisfaction that no purchase can provide. Third, maintain balance. Success in one area of life at the expense of others is not true success. Make time for relationships, for health, for play, for reflection. These are not luxuries, they're essential components of a well-lived life. Fourth, stay humble and curious. Continue to learn, to grow, to evolve. The moment you think you've arrived, that you have all the answers, is the moment you begin to stagnate. In conclusion, if you want to be wealthy and happy, remember these principles. Work harder on yourself than you do on your job. Your personal development is the foundation of everything else. Focus on creating value, not just making money. The marketplace rewards those who solve problems and serve others. Build strong habits and disciplines. Small actions repeated consistently over time lead to extraordinary results. Manage your resources wisely. It's not just what you make, it's what you keep and how you invest it. Cultivate gratitude and mindfulness. Happiness is found not in having more, but in wanting what you already have. Invest in relationships. The quality of your connections with others is the greatest predictor of your happiness. Find purpose in your work and your life. We all need meaning, a sense that what we do matters. Maintain balance and perspective. True wealth includes financial resources, but also health, relationships, personal growth, and contribution. And finally, remember that your life does not get better by chance, it gets better by change. If you want something different, you've got to do something different. If you want more, you've got to become more. The opportunity is yours. The choice is yours. The future is yours to create. And I believe in you. I believe that with the right philosophy, attitude, activity, results, and lifestyle, you can create a life of both wealth and happiness, a life of prosperity and peace of mind, of success and satisfaction. The journey begins with a single step. Take that step today. Start small if you must, but start now. Be patient with the process, but impatient with yourself. Push beyond your comfort zone. Stretch, grow, transform. And remember this, 10 years from now, you'll surely arrive. The question is, where? That will be determined by the decisions you make and the actions you take beginning today. So make those decisions wisely. Take those actions consistently. And build a life that is truly rich in all the ways that matter. The path to being both wealthy and happy isn't always easy, but it's worth it. And you're worth it. So commit today to becoming all that you can be, to creating all that you can create, to contributing all that you contribute. Because in that journey of becoming, creating, and contributing, you'll find both the prosperity and the peace you seek. Let me leave you with this thought. Life is not just about getting and having, it's about becoming and being. It's not just about accumulation, it's about contribution. It's not just about success, it's about significance. When you align your pursuit of wealth with your highest values and deepest purpose, when you see money as a tool rather than a goal, when you focus on creating value rather than just acquiring value, you'll find that both wealth and happiness flow more naturally into your life. The secret to having it all is recognizing that you already do. The secret to living is giving. The secret to success is service. And the secret to wealth and happiness is understanding that they're not competing goals, but complementary aspects of a life well lived. So go forth with confidence and courage and apply these principles with discipline and consistency. And create for yourself a life of true prosperity, a life that is rich not just in material resources, but in meaning, purpose, and joy. You have everything you need to begin. You have the capacity to learn, to grow, to achieve. You have unique talents and abilities that the world needs. You have dreams and aspirations that can fuel your journey. All that remains is for you to take action. Not tomorrow, not next week, not when conditions are perfect, but today. Right now, in this moment. Because this moment is where life happens. This moment is where change begins. This moment is where your future is created.